There was someone who raised an alarm about the ongoings within the APC, and he did that right here on the program several weeks ago. And when he said it to us on Politics Today, a lot of people were wondering what exactly is going on. But when Senator Omisore came on the program, he said he's the black sheep in the APC. A few days later, the resignation of both men, Senator Adamu and Senator Omisore, happened. Now, tonight, let's hear from him. The Vice Chairman of APC, National Vice Chairman, Malam Salihu Lukman. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let me first and foremost get your view on the outcome of the NEC meeting. You saw what they've decided. And I'm very sure that you're a bit close to people at the grassroots. You're hearing what they are hearing. And there is so much pressure on those who have a little, because the money is not just flowing. And people are wondering, your party promised renewed hope. Is this the hope that you guys promised?
Well, first, it's true that there are circumstances now facing Nigerians that is quite worrisome, which has to do with the increase in prices of petrol and which jack up cost of living. Of course, government has been quite responsive. It initiated the palliative measures, which again became a subject of so much criticism in the country. And I think listening to the outcome of the National Economic Council confirmed that we have a government that is responsive. It has listened to the criticism of Nigerians, and on the basis of which it has reviewed the palliatives. And as you presented, there is now some kind of broad and inclusive perspective in administering the palliatives and also ensuring that all aspects of life are touched. Of course, I know that there will be new round of challenges, and I am very confident that the government will live up to those challenges and respond appropriately. That is what government business is all about.
I mean, how do you feel as a party leader that things are not going well with a lot of Nigerians?
No,
the sufferings and the pains.
I think we must admit we were very clear from the beginning that moving forward is not going to be easy.
And Nigerians are going to suffer?
Not quite. There has to be hard decisions taken. And in taking those hard decisions, we envisage some of the difficulties, and contingency measures are put in place to ensure that those are being addressed. I'm confident in the next 1-2 years, all these things will be put behind us and we'll move more confidently as a nation, full of pride that things are being...
You don't think with the pain some Nigerians are going through right now, that perhaps some of them might be thinking in their mind, maybe they made a mistake voting for your party?
Well, I mean, you see, those are some of the realities which people are free to, make their own judgments. But I think as leaders, we cannot be in denial. We have to really admit there are challenges. And I think that is what the government is doing. And steps are being taken to ensure that all the challenges are going to be addressed.
One of the issues that have been raised is whether or not your party or the government is really ready for the task, and the fact that the time that you had from winning an election and coming, because, I mean, we understand that the president was in France and he said he wanted to cool off and plan properly. But those who have criticized experts have said, your government should have seen this coming. You should have planned properly. The Nigerian people that have been left in this kind of quagmire, I'm not sure how much of this you know about.
You want me to listen to you?
No, go ahead. You realize that people are going through a lot of pain, isn't it?
Sheun, you must, just a few weeks back, these citizens were full of praises about all the initiatives the government is taking. if there are situations now that require immediate responses, I think we need to admit the government is responding to them. We are not going to be able to resolve the challenges of Nigeria overnight. What we can assure you is that we are ready as a party to provide the leadership, and is being provided as it is now by President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the right initiatives are being taken. We are very confident that not too long from now, we'll begin to see positive results, and Nigerians will understand that the difficult decisions taken is really in the interest of the nation.
Is it true that some of you in the APC are preparing for some kind of election in anticipation? Because
I don't know.
I'm very sure you must have heard those
No. I am aware there are by-elections in some constituencies.
I'm talking about
if we are talking of those by-elections, yes, we are preparing. But anything outside that, I think is wishful thinking.
Because there are those who are saying that from the outcome of that presidential election tribunal,
look. I think let's first
it was the national chairman of the Labour Party who said your party is already prepared.
Let's face serious issues. There are people whose business in politics is all about contesting election. I think our business is that we contested election. Now it's time to provide leadership to the country to resolve our challenges. And that is what we are facing.
The machinery or the machine that you will use in making that happen, procuring governance for Nigeria, is it looks like there is salt in your engine. There is we're hearing the very cracking noise of your crankshaft, and it's giving a lot of worry to some of your followers. The manner in which some will say Adamu and Omisore were eased out. Do you think that in some way that they were pressured to resign?
Well, look.
Some kind of political pressure.
Let's put things in context. What you may call pressure or crisis, that is the business of politics. Politics is about contestation. And in contestation, somebody will win, somebody will lose. The main issue, if you recall, and this is what other parties are in denial. I keep saying I'm a proud member of APC because we are never in denial in terms of the challenges we are facing as a party. We are constantly renewing our initiative in terms of our approach in building the party. And that is why when we find situations where we have to change leadership, we don't shy away from it. If there are issues that warrant that we raise criticism about how our leaders are managing the party, we open up and say it, and we debate it within the party, and decisions get taken in one way or the other. So the last decision, which we must respect both Senator Abdullahi Adamu and Senator Omisore, they voluntarily resigned.
Was that a voluntary resignation?
Of course, it's voluntary. Did you hear from them disputing that? They voluntarily resigned.
I mean,
nobody compelled them.
Because
to the best of my knowledge,
what we are hearing is it's a bit different.
Well, I don't know what
are you aware that maybe they were invited by some security agencies?
I'm not aware. I'm not aware.
Because there are those who are in your party. Look, there are those who are in your party who are saying that this was not voluntary.
I think in terms of engaging this conversation publicly, we should use the facts available to us. If there are other facts which are not available and subject of speculation, we should allow the facts to emerge first. But so far, to the best of my knowledge, and these are not disputed by both Senator Abdullahi Adamu and Senator Omisore. And like you hear from the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, across the party, we acknowledge and respect the decision of the two leaders to resign. And therefore, our concern now is to put that behind us and move forward. And in moving forward, I think the main issue is to return to some of the issues that were very critical in terms of the management of the party under the leadership of Senator Adamu and Senator Omisore. And what are these issues? Basically, restoring constitutional order within the party, returning to the founding vision of the party. And in terms of restoring constitutional order, the key issues is that we need to activate all the structures of the party and allow them to function in line with provisions of the constitution of the party. I mean, what are these structures we are talking about? We are talking of the National Executive Committee, the National Caucus, National Advisory Council. These are basically the organs. For the last more than 1 year, the only organ of the party that has been functioning is the National Working Committee. Even the National Working Committee isn't functioning in a way that you will say it is taking decision in line with the provision of the party constitution, which is why, for instance, my critique is that we are not being allowed to debate issues, take decision, and which is why a number of us raise some of the question around finances, around some of the decisions, some of the actions being taken.
So they left out, they were basically, they were the two people who were taking decisions. They were not consulting the rest of the NWC.
I think again,
was that the case?
That is likely the case, but it will be unfair to them if, as members of National Working Committee, we claim ignorance of many of the things that is being done. I think in a number of ways, we have to also take responsibility, because to be fair to them, there are decisions they take, they come to us and inform us. Whether we ratify it or not, we cannot say we are not aware. But the key issue is that there are statutory provisions of the Constitution that require us as National Working Committee to really sit and take, for instance, the whole question of budgeting. We never did budgeting.
And you were spending money.
We were spending money. The whole question of reporting, both in terms of activity and in terms of finances, which is basically about accountability.
Was there any kind of auditing?
We were told there was auditing. Now we are taking steps to really put our hands on all those to understand what really happened. So without going into all those details, I think moving forward, part of the thing in restoring constitutional order we were expecting, I think we should do, and we should appeal to all our leaders. We should activate all those structures of the party, the constitutional structures of the party, and allow them to function so that we, both we as members of National Working Committee and our elected representative are made accountable to those organs. Because the beauty of democracy is accountability.
Because if there is a system that made Senator Abdullahi Adamu and some of those who have been accused of high-handedness in the running of the affair of the APC, has that system been fixed? Because you came out today to ask that constitutional order should be returned if there is a replacement for Senator Adamu, and that system that allowed him, based on the allegations against him, still exists. Don't you think that the same thing will still go on?
Look, when we say, I think we need to explain when we say constitutional order should be restored. The Constitution said National Executive Committee should meet every quarter. There is National Advisory Council, which should have been inaugurated within 1 month after our election. So basically, by the end of April 2022, the National Advisory Council should have been inaugurated. The National Caucus is also there. And part of it, and that is why today I raised the issue about the power blocks within the party. some of the power blocks are located in those structures. For instance, the elders, our elders are in the National Caucus, and some of them are in the Advisory Council. In fact, the Advisory Council is expected to function as the conscience of the party. In fact, when there are disputes or grievances within the party, they have power within the Constitution to intervene.
This was supposed to be the Board of Trustees, kind of.
Yes, yes. And for instance, if there is failure to convene meetings of National Executive Committee, the National Advisory Council had the power to direct that the meeting of the National Executive Committee should hold.
So these are some of the steps you think that the party should take.
Yeah.
But you have raised an objection in the statement you released today, because the governors, and what we are hearing is that they're tipping Senator Abdullahi Ganduje, former governor of Kano State, to replace Senator Abdullahi Adamu. And you say that if that happens, it will look as though they're taking the party and members and leaders of the party for granted. And you've warned the governors to be careful.
Well, I think it's more of a caution, because you see, it's at two or three levels. The first level is that in the negotiation to agree on the leadership of the National Assembly, the North Central was not, represented the way it should. And the understanding is that, of course, they have position of the national chairman. By the decision that is being contemplated now, it means moving the position of the national chairman from North Central to Northwest. I'm from Northwest. And I think as leaders and as a nation, we should be able to be fair and just to all parts of the country. If we go by this, it will suggest almost the North Central is becoming increasingly a pariah, a political pariah region, because if you look at the appointment of service chiefs, they are not well represented, but the Northwest is well represented.
But those who will say that the SGF is in the North Central.
Yes, the SGF is North Central. We already have in the Northwest Speaker, House of Reps, we have Deputy Senate President from the Northwest. So I think my appeal is that we need to be quite sensitive, because already I know that there is a lot of grievances by leaders of the party from North Central in terms of what has taken place. Of course, because we have government, there will be so many avenues to say we can compensate them. But honestly, I think as a party, we should remain consistent if the negotiation for the leadership of National Assembly is based on certain consideration. Those considerations should be upheld until the government is formed at all levels, and then if there is need to adjust, you put everything on the table and renegotiate it.
Let's wrap up now, and this is my final question to you, Malam Lukman. How do you think your party should go forward from here? What do you think they should be doing, and how best do you think they should replace those that have, you said, voluntarily resigned?
No, I honestly think that the first is to activate those structures. And I'm aware as a National Working Committee, we are working on proposals so that first the National Executive Committee meet immediately and National Caucus, and also even inaugurate the National Advisory Council almost immediately without any further delay. And when that is done, unlike before when negotiation for the emergence of leaders of the party is controlled by one or two power blocks within the party, all power blocks. And in terms of power block, our constitution provides a situation where we are going to have women, youth, and persons with disability wings. And these are wings that are supposed to be structures that will participate, will mobilize those constituencies and will participate in negotiation process. In fact, they are expected to have their own leadership hierarchy. And as part of that, the youth leader, woman leader, and leader of persons with disability, in addition to the secretaries of the three wings, will be members of National Executive Committee. And through that, meetings of the organs of the party can properly accommodate all interests, and any decision with respect to how leaders emerge will accommodate all interests.
All right. Malam Salihu Lukman, thank you so much. He's the National Vice Chairman of the APC. Thank you so much indeed. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.